strange
I know
post.
it's not you know, such called as text art or something like that,
Mm.
when you use different symbols from the different fonts in order
Mhm.
to create the general image. It's cat. So if you look at it, it's the face of the cat.
Oh, yeah. I see. Okay, I just didn't know how to properly call it. Mhm. So,
Yes,
um,
seems that we
mhm.
already on YouTube right now. So Alex, could you just have a look
Check
at
it.
what? Yeah, check that we do have everything fine there too. Because
Yeah, give me a second, please.
okay, I'll drop you the link so it'd be easier to find it.
Mhm.
Okay, so we are believe pretty ready to start right now.
Okay, yeah, it works. Everything works.
Okay. Okay. So Mike's game 01, sorry if I misread the name, say, says that it's an interesting game we are streaming right now. So it's a quite fresh recorded gameplay of our project Beast Tower. So Mike, if you don't mind, just tell a few words. How did you manage to get to our stream? Do you know anything about Beast Tower already? And feel free to ask any questions if you have any. Okay, so we just been waiting for a couple of minutes before everyone gets here, so we can start answering questions. So Alex, is there anything we just can talk about? Maybe tell guys before everyone gets together, like in this famous Overwatch phrase.
I don't know. Um, I think we have nothing additional to say. Just guys, if you have any questions, like go ahead and ask them. And we have a plan for this stream. I mean, the list of questions we have prepared for ourselves. But of course, it's your stream first of all, and any questions you ask will be answered first, and then if we don't have any, we will continue with our own prepared plan for this call, for this stream, I should
Yeah,
say.
because you know, guys, it's the format where we do communicate with you. It's not just a video where we want to give you some information to show some updates. Of course, we do speak about all these things here, but we want to talk to you and to hear you and to know what you want to ask us about. So that's why don't be shy. Go ahead, ask your questions. We'll by all means switch to them as soon as we get them, because you know, we need to hear you, so please go ahead.
Hmm. Yes, that's true. Okay. Yeah, I've just
Mike says that
uh,
he comes from Discord. Okay, that's cool that you're following us, because I believe Discord is our maybe most, you know, famous social media where we,
popular.
yes, a lots of people there, they just communicating with one another even without the help of community managers. Also, we do have, of course, community managers who talk to people, answer questions, and so on and so after. But Discord, we're really proud of our Discord and how people behave, how people ask questions, and how they help one another. That's why it's cool that you are there already. So Mike is already asking something on Twitch. Alex, don't you mind reading his question, please?
Yeah. I just wanted to do it. Like Mike asks, how many different beasts and monsters are there planned for the launch?
Okay, so just to ask this question, to answer this question, let's be frank with the term launch or release, because we are developing a PvP multiplayer game. In case of PvP multiplayer game, recently, during, I mean, last 5-7 years, the word release is already more a marketing term rather than an actual stage of the game development. For example, my favorite example, which I give almost every time people ask this question, is about Fortnite. They were in early access for over a year. And then already at that time they were a top game in the world in terms of sales, in terms of players and coverage, and everyone was already crazy about Fortnite. And only after a year of such a huge success they called themselves a release. So as I think in case of a multiplayer game, the release is the time when almost everyone can play the game without no limits. Whenever you call it alpha, beta, anything like that, it doesn't matter at all. So, but you see, in our understanding then, release means that we make the amount of features, content, and any other things connected with the game according to our desired plan, right? Sorry, guys. So, the release date is not quite a close one. That's why I would rather say about that we want to make as many characters as possible, but to do them well. And currently we have 3 ready characters, 2 raiders, and 1 beast werewolf. That's why also we do have in development a couple other characters. That's why I would be happy if by the release time we would have enough unique characters to cover the whole gaming roster. Right now we play the game can be played by 8 people. So there are 3 monsters, beasts, and 5 raiders, humans. So I think that we would be somewhere there by the time we call ourselves a release. I believe so.
So we do have another questions. Another question. If you have finished answering the first one.
Sure.
Okay, let's go on. So, are there different objectives to complete when you are playing a raider versus when you are playing as a beast?
You see, we do have the, of course, same map where each type of the player participates, and we do have the same objects all the characters interact with. That's why, but they interact with them in a different way. So generally, just to describe the whole idea, to answer your questions, raiders, their main idea is to find special resource which is called Arcana by completing special quests. While they acquire Arcana, they level up and unlock new abilities and upgrade their already unlocked ones. While beasts, they use Arcana to increase their sense, the special ability which helps them to detect raiders. So you see a good example of the same object but with different meaning for different character type. If we talk about general gaming rules, then raiders are about exploring the city, the haunted city, gathering Arcana, leveling up, competing with other raiders for this precious resource, and by the very end of the game they can either escape by fulfilling a special quest, or they can try to become the last survivor on the map, which is pretty hard, especially taking into account that you would have to face 3 beasts at once. In case of beasts, you are more straightforward. You run, you hunt, you fight both beasts and kill raiders, you destroy things, and by the very end you need to just kill everyone to become the only alpha on the whole map. So that's the general thing. So if you do have some more questions regarding what I have said, or maybe something wasn't clear, please drop a new question in the chat. We'll be happy to answer it.
Yeah, I mean, I can probably say a little bit about like objectives, like quests that Raider can complete in order to level up. So, for example, we have a few types.
Well, like the Rift, which we do have right on the screen.
Yes, like the Rift. So you It's point of the map. There are a few of them. You have to find it first, then you have to capture it, and other raiders and other beasts will see that you have captured this point because of the of this light from the rift that can be seen from anywhere on the map. And other players will try to take it from you. And you, on the other hand, will get some benefits. You will get experience, you will get some healing each second you possess this rift. But after some time, the rift is exhausted, and the only remaining thing is this drop, this big chunk of arcana, and you have to capture it just by approaching it and collecting. But other players will also be able to and will try to take it from you. So it's a pretty good, I would say rather interesting quest for the players who love to fight with other players. But if you are not into some kind of fighting, then you can find other quests on the map, which don't require you to compete most of the time with other players.
Yes. So, according to what we already told, that we have questions about, I believe it's possible to answer them both at the same time. So it said, so raiders can fight other raiders and beasts can fight other beasts. If so, what's the benefit there? Are the raiders killing other raiders to obtain more loot for themselves? You see, the whole idea is a simple one. As we do have a free-for-all system, that you don't have any allies and you're on your own, that means that each quest which you find as a raider, you would need for yourself in order to get more experience, to unlock more abilities and generally become stronger in order to be able to survive or escape by the very end of the game. So each time you need to fight off some precious point on the map with enough arcana for you to level up, otherwise it will be taken by another raider. That's where the conflict starts. So it's not maybe more about some loot, but it's more about some experience. So you or your rival can get more resources to unlock more skills. Okay, let's just me check the questions once more so I'll be sure that I answered it right. Yeah, so it's not just some kind of competition just in killing. It's a competition in getting more chances to win. That's the idea of all the system.
Yeah, I would like to point out that there is no, like, if you play as a raider, there are two ways to win this game. You can either escape the map from the map. You can, like, you are not, it's not mandatory to fight other players. You can fight them and get experience from killing them, but it's not necessary. You can complete quests and escape this way. Or you can kill everyone you see, like who you can catch.
Or maybe hide one while everyone is killing one another and trying to be the very last one who be the cunningest and the cleverest player on the map to stay away from trouble.
Yeah, because it's very unusual for games like Beast Hour. I mean, isometric PvP games, because most of the time you are in the team and you are together for the one objective. But here in Beast Hour, you are on your own. There are no allies, like Anton said, and you can choose how you want to win this game. And both ways are valid and totally possible.
Yeah. So one thing I believe we forgot to do at the early beginning of the stream, because we just started so rapidly and people started asking questions, that I fear we didn't introduce ourselves. So yeah, well, as it said, it's better later than never. So Alex is our community developer, a person who is in charge of many things, a part of working with the community. And I'm Anton. I'm creative director of Beach Studio, so the studio developing the Beast Tower project. Yeah, so just to get to know who we are. And the questions I see right now, it's about our plans to implement any team games, duos, squads, etc. Whoa, that's the question we always get asked almost at our any interview, at any meeting with our colleagues and so on and so after, because people are used that the games like Beast Tower are usually team-based, and generally there is such a kind of thinking, common thinking nowadays, widespread, that any PvP game should be team-based, otherwise it would be interesting to play because you can't join your friends. Okay, currently we have only free-for-all mode, because due to our research, to our playtesting and focus groups which we asked and run during the last year, it turned out that the most interesting and cool mode which people like to play tons of times, repeatedly. But we also do understand that at some point people would need maybe some kind of a team play. We do have a kind of idea in mind how it can be organized in Beast Tower, but in order to start working on it, we need to finish the current mode to show you, to let you get your hands on it, gather your feedback, and after that we'll decide whenever you need the team mode so badly that we should make our top priority. Just to give you some information which we gathered while we're talking to people and generally analyzing whenever the team play is crucial for us, generally, it turned out that it's funny, but quite a huge part, I mean about 2/3 of people we took talk, or maybe quarters, would say that they don't want team play badly, because they are a bit of tired of games where you're really dependent on your teammates, and if you play with no friends, and if you're at least a person who is, I mean, over 20s, over 25, sometimes it's really hard to gather your colleagues, to gather your friends at some exact time to play together. That's why, fortunately or unfortunately, but most people sometimes today play alone, and you can do nothing with that. And for them, it's cool that they're playing a PvP game where they don't rely on other people. And if, for example, they invited their 3 friends to come to play with them and nobody showed up, or just one person, the evening is ruined. So it's a kind of interesting thing, because we just figured out. But still, we do understand that there are people who want a team play mode. That's why we already have some draft design for that, but I'm not ready to tell anything else more, because things might change drastically, and that's why what I said now would be not relevant at the point when we come to this decision. That's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
we have GG Kronos here. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I mean, Kronos right now is at work, but he has to leave us. But it's very nice that he had some time to.
GG Kronos is one of our most loyal and always supporting mates in the community, and he's just almost supports and likes every post of ours and helping us out so much that we're just so greatly thankful to him. So stay tuned, we'll be happy to always help you out with everything.
Yeah, so I guess now we don't have any more questions coming out from the chat, so we can.
Yeah, let's see what we have for the planned, questionnaire for tonight.
Mhm.
But guys, still, don't be shy, ask your questions, because I've said it's our main goal today to talk to you and not just to ourselves.
Yes. So, okay, let me start by asking you very interesting questions. So, first question is about our changes of the map. So, if viewers have read our newsletter, the latest update of the game, they could see that we have added bridges into the game in order to make movement more accessible. So can you please tell us
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more about this?
So guys, yeah, as Alex just told you, we do have a special, bridges which connect rooftops. So it's just a simple construction of two ropes connected with pieces of wood, so it making platforms you can run along from one building to the another. Why we decided to do it? Because we really like to implement the idea of moving around the map in absolutely different ways, and to have actually several maps in one. What I mean is that we do have several layers of heights, both the zero level, which is a ground level, just you are running around buildings on the streets and etc. You can go underground in the system of tunnels, and the system nearly connects the whole city. So knowing the tunnels well, you can use a lot of shortcuts, you can use interesting roads to get to some places unnoticed, but still risking yourself if you meet the monster just underground, because beasts are really terrible at close distances as they're melee fighters. So if you get in a tunnel with a beast, you're likely to die. That's why it's up to you to decide. And that's why we decided that it could be a good idea to make such a kind of the same, shortcut system, but for the high level. You mean when you can just run around the rooftops and get into any part of the city without even touching the ground. That's why we're making these special bridges, but it's not an easy walk there. You need to jump, you need to wall run in order to get from one bridge to the another. But generally, the whole idea of the system that if you understand how it works out, you can use these roads to get quickly to some areas which you need.
I see. So can you tell us a little bit more about what mechanics do we have in the game that players can use in order to escape from to escape beasts?
So you see, when we started developing the game, the only way to escape from escape beast, it was just to parkour really, really well. At the point when the beast just loses you from the sight and get confused of the current location of raider. Then we understood that it is not really cool thing, because there is such a thing as player's endurance. I mean, when you're doing something at great pressure for a long time, you get tired and you lose your interest. That's why we started thinking how we can limit the time of the chase. So on the one hand, it's still interesting and you feel that it's enough time for you to get the necessary adrenaline, but it's not too long for you to get tired. Yes? That's why we decided that we should have the escape mechanics. So it's special things which let you, as soon as you get to this point, escaping beast, to have otherwise the ability to drop the chase, to hide, to somehow confuse the monster and so making him switch to another target, or give you some drastical advantage, meaning you get far away, it's harder to reach you, so you get some, you have the pressure down. So this pressure up and pressure down is a very important feature of any chase game, because it's the thing which keeps you involved and interested. So we made such things as a special mist of zones of mist, where you getting as a raider get invisibility for a short period of time. Or we have special vault objects. I mean, it can be some barricades, some cards, or any other things which, like you see on the screen right now, you can jump over, vault over, and get some boost of speed. And also, if you use pillars in the same manner, you jump over pillars from some height, you don't get a hard landing which stuns you for a short period of time. So it's the second thing. The third thing with the special, nearly ruined walls, which you can roll below as a raider, and beast needs to break these walls to get behind them. Talking about some, things which work really, unique way, and sometimes you need to get used to them. It can be the system of portals. So it's special, black holes, small black holes, which you can find on the map. As soon as you interact with one of them, you get teleported to the random place on the map. So you don't know whenever you get far away from beast, or you get even closer to some point which is close to your teleportation. So it's a kind of a lottery you can be eager to play. Alex, did I manage to mention all of them, or I should talk more about some others?
I believe you have. Like, that's all we have. We have spoken about, at least in public. But GJ Kronos has a question for us. So I guess we should switch to answering it. So, what tactics would you give to someone playing as a beast? So, how would you recommend players to play as a beast?
Okay, guys. Honestly, we did our best and still working hard on the very important features. Which we believe to be the core of Beast Tower, it's the choice. So you have different variants of behavior, and it's up to you to choose which one will bring especially you the success, because all people are unique, all approaches are unique. That's why you should be choosing what is closer and more in your character. Well, that's why also we have the thing that depending on your level of play, new things, new tactics start working differently. Well, a good example could be some MOBA game where when you start playing with newcomers, people who just spend very little time playing MOBA, there is some characters which really rock. So they are most efficient ones because people who are playing the game are not really good with the core mechanics. Then we have the middle level, where other characters start shining, and on the top level, I mean really, really cool guys and even some cyber sportsmen. Another portion of characters become the most efficient ones. The same thing is with Beast Tower. When you start playing the game as a beast, the main thing we should be doing is to try to charge your hull as soon as possible, and try to spot raider and just chase them out until you kill. So you just attack everything you see, because raiders at that point are not playing really good. They don't know how to fight you back. They may be not really good with parkour. So you just chase and kill and having fun. So it's simple, because at most cases when the people start playing Beast Tower, they somehow think that beasts are more stronger than raiders. Yes, they are stronger than raiders, of course, because they have more HP, they have more damage, but they are not more efficient, and that's really big difference. And when you play beasts for a longer time, you understand that you should be really careful about just running at raider and just taking out all the damage he or she throws in you, because by the time you get to the clever raider, you can be likely already dead or have very little HP, so the only strategy you can have is just to run away. That's why what I would say is that even playing as beast, behave yourself as a hunter. Think where you can find prey, think whenever to attack it, think whenever you should interfere into fights of other raiders and other beasts. And most important thing which I would point out, especially for beasts, because beasts just are designed to feel themselves really strong and unstoppable, keep an eye on your HP.
Yes, because yes, you are unstoppable beast who can kill almost everyone, but there are like at least 2 other beasts on the map apart from you, and you have to always be aware that some other beasts can jump in front of you and, for example, steal your prey, or he will try to capture your part of the map, for example. I mean, we playing as a beast, you have the ability to capture some points of the map which will give you benefits, and it will be easier for you to track down raiders. And other beasts will try to recapture, to take it from you, and you should also be aware of this and try to protect, if you are if you can, of course. Mm, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Also, one thing I would add, we have sometimes a thing which we call the terrain. So it's a system when a beast is chasing raider, and at the same time another beast is running after this first monster, and just attacking it periodically. So at that point you can easily forget about that somebody is attacking you from the behind because you're focused on your prey, and by some time you won't even notice how the beast who is chasing you would kill and finish your monster. So that's the thing which you should be also aware of, that you, as Alex said, are not the only hunter on the map, and other hunters can hunt you too. That's the thing.
Yes, yes. I mean, that's a pretty special thing, which, like, I haven't seen any other game has that formula, like 3 beasts in one match against 5 raiders. That's not a popular type of game, because nobody actually used that before, and we are here the first one.
You
First
see,
ones.
the funny thing is that just the other day I learned
Mhm.
that the guys, if I'm not mistaken, who were behind the Friday the 13th title, they announced that they're working on some asymmetric horror game which is inspired or even has the franchise of this Texas Chainsaw, or how is this horror movie is called. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that called. That they pointed out on their website that they have in plans to have more than one killer on the map. I can't say that they would be stealing our idea, and I'm not sure that they even know about our project, but somehow it's a good sign, meaning that people start already thinking about the fact that it's necessary to somehow bring in new ideas to the table of asymmetric PvP gaming, because
Mhm.
currently, unfortunately, as far as we analyzed almost all the at least known titles of asymmetric PvP on the market, that most of the titles are just trying to copy Dead by Daylight franchise, so having their very formula. And when we have one killer and a team of survivors in different manners. For example, a good interesting example could be Predator Hunting Grounds, when one player takes the role of the predator, this alien hunter, and 4 others or 5 others are playing as a squad of marines who are trying to kill this monster and survive. And that's
Mhm.
why when it's really cool when people are trying out new ideas, although it's quite risky thing and it's quite hard thing, because when you don't have a right example of what you need to copy, you need to playtest tons of times. Alex won't let me lie that we spent lots of time working out some important and sometimes even some small parts of Beast Tower to make sure that they're working out simple and cool.
Yeah, I mean, we actually spent years trying to get this formula, trying to get this gameplay system that we have right now in order to work very, very nicely and fun. So, and we believe that now we have achieved this level that we are very satisfied with the result, and we are very we can wait for you to try it. I mean, really, because it's been many years we have been working on this game, and we would love to hear your feedback. We have the question from Chorus TV, if I'm not mispronouncing it. So, is respawning endless, or is there some kind of lives system. So how do like respawn system works in this tower?
Okay, so first of all, I need to notice that in Beast Tower, when you put the HP of your opponent to a 0 level, you don't kill him or her immediately. The person just falls on the ground for some time, where there is an option to finish him or her. You just come and make the finishing move, which also can be interrupted by other players. So it's the first thing which you should note, because you can see that people are falling down and rising up at some time. Secondly, the game is divided into uneven parts. So around 2/3 of the game you have endless respawns. As after you've been finished, you spend some time as on the respawn, then you return back to the game. It's the same thing both for Raider and for Beast. So you shouldn't be afraid of dying, of making some mistakes, or trying out some new tactics, because if you die you get just kicked out of the game. No, it doesn't work this way. Please just make mistakes, try new things, don't be afraid of something new, and keep having fun even if you died once. In the final stage of the game, the respawn system transfers to the fact that if you die, you lose. At this time, you should be really careful about your HP, about what decisions you take up, and how you interact with other players. Because, as soon as you die, you die. We do have some, unique rules and special nuances in the system of, final Beast Tower stage, where you can die without respawning, but I believe, just to keep things simple right now, I won't go deep in it. So that's why, just to make sure you understand, I told everything. At the first part of the game, you respawn as many times as you wish. After a certain point, the respawns stop, and as soon as you die, you die. That's it.
Yes, and I also want to mention that it's in your best interests to level up as fast as you can, as much as you can, by this second phase of the game, because by that point, if you have reached the highest level, which is to that point is eighth level. So if you have like the 8th level, you have the advantage against other players. You can still win the game even if you are behind, but it will be just more difficult.
Yeah, you see, Alex has a very good point of saying that even if you didn't manage to get a high level during the first stage of the game, you still have chances to winning. Because Beast Hour is not just a game about leveling up. So if somebody is level 3rd and other person is level 7, it doesn't mean that the 7th level by all means would get the upper hand in a fight. No. You can win because the game is skill based. It just requires your finger work, your brain work, your knowledge of the game rules and mechanics, and you can outplay everyone. But it's just if you have the very same level of play, it would be a really hard thing. And if somebody is playing better than you, then you need to outlevel this person in order to just start a fight. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. We have another question. So this time it's about the routes. Is there any routes that only beasts or raiders can use only? So, I mean, it depends only on the character you play as, or all the map is open and accessible to all players, to all characters.
You see. I believe that generally speaking, all places which are just designed to be played at, all the rooftops, all the buildings, all the underground is accessible for anyone. Raiders and beasts have abilities which let them to jump high, to make some kind of short blinks or different things like that. But all the map is designed in the way that you can get to any point without using any abilities. That's very important rule of our game design, because it allows us, first of all, to give the full freedom to people who didn't manage to level up all the abilities, and also it just don't give some upper hand to characters who have some movement abilities to those who don't have them, just by the design. I believe that there are maybe just a couple of huge tubes, some, special plant things which go high into the sky, which beasts can climb to a certain level and raiders can't get that high, but in terms of gameplay it doesn't matter at all, because raiders can shoot, and even if beast climbs that high, they can still shoot it and it won't save them. That's the thing. Of course, beasts are using, their claws to climb any wall in any direction. That means that it would just take him. It is more easier for them to climb on some wall, because raiders need to use some complex moves of jump offs between two nearby walls, or maybe some crazy wall runs around to climb to the point where the beast can get just only by running up a wall. That's the thing. But still, we did all the things possible to avoid the problem that this character can get into that place and that character can do it. That was our very important rule, which we carefully stick to.
Mm-hmm. I see. So I guess we should switch to our next question we have prepared for ourselves. This time, now I would love to know more about the translation and localization that we are working on right now.
Okay.
So would you mind telling us a little bit about this?
So guys, you see, we do understand that we of course need the game to be translated in several languages, just because it's the data Steam provides, that the more languages you support, the more players would be playing the game, which is really important for a PvP title, because it's crucial for the how many people are playing at the game at the current point of time, and the average number of people who get online all the time, so you have people to play with. So that's why we first of all started supporting languages which we know ourselves, and so members of our team can speak fluently and are proficient with these languages. Some things like, of course, English, and languages like Japanese and like Russian. So yeah, we have such a curious mixture of languages in our team that people can speak. Also, for the last months, we published the report about our achievements for the current months, and also we asked that people who can speak different languages could support us with translation. We were surprised when we get a great response, and we already have a person who just did a marvelous job with helping us out with translating the Steam page and the in-game text into French, just as a volunteer for free. It was unbelievable support for our team. That's why I just want to say, Alex says that something wrong with my lighting. I mean, you have some kind of a glow?
Yes, kind of like it. So
yeah, I think that
just like the previous stream, you had the issue.
Yes, I just can't think I have fixed it, and I believe you'll see it just in several seconds, and please tell me if it's still okay or not.
I think it's okay, yeah.
Great. So guys, continuing the talk about localization and translations. If you want to help us out with translating Beast Tower in different languages, we would be more than happy to accept your help. So I would just give you the list of languages which we need to be translated to. So it's German, then it's Spanish Spain, well, as it's noted in Steam, so I believe there is several countries in the world which use Spanish as their main language, but they do have some crucial differences. That's why we need, the common Spanish language, so be sure that everyone understands the translation. Then it's Polish, then it's Portuguese, Brazil, because we talked to our Brazilian community, and they told us that the language in Portugal and in Brazil is kind of different one. So it's similar but have some important differences. That's why asked us that we should have this variant of language for them.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's simplified Chinese, it's Italian, it's Korean. So this is the languages we would be really happy if you could help us out with translating the game. So the amount of work is not really a big one. It's translating the Steam page. You can have a look at it in the store. It's not a huge one. Then we have the in-game texts. So guys, we are not story-driven game. We do have a very interesting lore about which we've talked much, but generally in-game we have really small amount of text, and it's pretty simple one, like do it, don't do it, run here, and so on and so after. So it's around 300 lines with about 3-4 words in each. That's why it usually takes those who are good in this or that speech just about maybe a couple of days to translate everything.
Yeah, at best, I would say even less than this. But yeah, I mean, if you help us out, you will be able probably, to play the game much earlier and with us, as we will be helping you as much as we can.
Sure. So guys, if you are ready to help us, just drop a line in Discord, and our community managers would be happy to tell you how to work things out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so guys, by the way, guys, I just wanted to ask you, what are your native languages? So please share with us, because as you can hear, we are not English natives, but we do our best, so I'm just curious where you guys are from.
I think that in YouTube we have a comment from our friend who helps us with French translation. So could you just have a look, because it seems that Alex writing to us right now.
Yes. Funny you should mention that. I am watching the stream, lurking in the shadows to get more insight on some stuff I'm stuck on with the French translation. Hahaha.
Yeah. So just if you have some issues with understanding what it or that phrase means, always feel free to contact Alex. He is our best language knowing person and proficient in several languages. That's why he can help you out easily with that, and he knows the game very well.
Yeah, I'll be able to show you exactly what's I mean, if you don't know how to translate a certain point on the map, or an objective, I will be able to show you, and we will be able to decide what is the best option every time. So I see Course TV says that English is his native language.
Yeah.
And Leonin Rus says that it's Russian, but he also knows English as a second language.
Yeah, and sometimes people would say that my English is more similar to America, to USA, than British one, because I spent some time in the USA at art school, and there people were just, my mates were telling me some things which I should be knowing about USA English. For example, they told me that the right way to say not America, like in Britain, but to say America, which is a more true way of saying the name of the country. And also they taught me some other words which I'm not sure that I can speak right now.
By the way, that's just again, I'm just curious. Uh, like, what accents do we have as like as people? Like, if you hear our voices, um, where you would think we are from?
Yeah,
That just
that's always
curiosity.
funny for me because as long as I come to some foreign country and I am using some taxi service or any other way where I need to stay with a person for quite a time and have some chat, I have very interesting, suggestions. Where do I come from? Yeah, I know that my English is far from perfect and I do have some kind of a heavy accent, but somehow people are really making interesting conclusions, which I'm always thinking, what? How did you would say that this can be my native language? It's so funny to say.
So we have a question about lore of the game. So is there any plans? Are there any plans for events and maybe that will take place in the game about lore? Because as Leonin Rus says, he's very interested in that part of the game. Maybe like League of Legends mm, uh, type of lore and approach to the story of the world. Like, what
Okay.
do you think?
So yeah, we are really in love with our lore, and we consider it to be a pretty solid thing, like a foundation for building the world, the stories, the whole universe, and all the conflicts and motivations behind characters to do this and that things. Because whenever you're building some universe, you should always thinking about not what but why. So why this character, why this nation, why this country, why this creature doing these or that things? As soon as you're answering these questions, everything becomes more logical, more convincing, and just it works out like a living world and not just a kind of a background for just okay, during to this some strange reasons they are running around this haunted city and doing what they are doing. That's the thing. Um, we already have some cool thing about our lore, but we haven't prepared it in English to post for everyone. That's why we would try to do it as soon as possible. Alex already gave me a task to do this, you know, to make this visual thing, but we're so busy now with preparing the closed alpha and having so much work to do in regards of preparing different things. That's why I'm not sure that I'll be have time to do it in coming weeks. But
Mhm.
we already have everything drawn, everything written, and the only thing we need to do to make just to sit down and just to collect everything in Photoshop. It would just take time. It's not easy thing to do, but we would do our best to have it ready at some point. So you will be we 100% sure that you'll like it. 100% sure.
Yeah. Funny thing. Course TV says that we sound like German or Austrian guys. That's interesting.
Yeah, because that's the thing which we, for example, me personally, often people suggest that I'm from these countries when I talk to, and as I am just a big fan of 90s movies, I mean action movies with action stars, like of course Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. I sometimes feeling myself funny about that because in previous years I used to have a very short hair. That's why when I was speaking and people were saying that I'm from Austria or Germany, I usually thought first thing about the Schwarzenegger.
Oh, by the way, we have another question. This time it is about our future characters and future beasts.
Uh, okay,
So.
I believe that Eklan already has seen our post, and I believe that we talked about that during our meeting on the French translation. That there is a new beast announced in our social media. Just it was posted in the report for the last month, and this week we already had a post about this monster. So just check out our Twitter, Instagram, or any other social media you are comfortable with. So it's a new beast, a vampire, and this vampire would be our next monster introduced into the game. I would say I would say 100% that this monster would be in closed alpha. Just unfortunately, it's not ready for the public testing. But we're already working on the prototype. We're happy with the prototype. We have a draft model of the character. We have the finished concept art of the character, and we have prototype for most abilities of this beast. Then, as soon as we will be happy with the gameplay and have the visuals finished, we will be introducing vampire into the game at the same time as a werewolf, because we've said that several times already in our streams and posts and comments that we don't want to stick to only type of beasts in the game, and we want to introduce some more monsters which would be not just skins but a complete unique characters with their own gameplay and features.
I mean, that also goes to raiders, because each raider and each new beast that will come out eventually, like each character is a unique character. It has its own unique set of abilities and visuals, of course. They will feel like it feels different to play each and every one of them. So, for example, we have right now 2 raiders. The first raider is his gameplay is pretty straightforward, because you have these electric shots, electric bolts you can shoot, and he has a like blink skill, and also a shield he can protect. He can protect himself from some damage. But on the other hand, the second character is more like, I wouldn't say it's more difficult to play as the second raider, but it's a different approach. So when you play as a female raider, your main objective is to poison your enemy, and slowly but steadily he will die. So your goal is to keep your distance and keep on poisoning your opponents in order to kill them. Also, she has a double jump. She has a very unique defensive ability, which Anton is very proud of, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we just made a kind of a special state for the character when you when the incoming damage is reduced, and you generally can't die. So as soon as your health drops to a certain level, it can't go lower. That means you can't die. But for the sake of this crazy protection, you can't attack. So you can't throw gas into your opponents. But if you level up this ability twice, so first of all you unlock it, and then put one more skill point in this ability. During this gas state, you can, by holding the shooting button, you could leave behind yourself the poisonous trail. So those who be chasing you would have to choose some different road to get to you in order to avoid damage. And there are several more upgrades which also changes the gameplay, giving you more possibilities how to use this ability. Well, you see, actually, we do our best trying to give some unique thing to every character, because we try our best to avoid the upgrades which just improve your stats. So like you have the reduced cooldown, you have the increased time of work, and so things like that. Of course, we can't stay from them because it's what is necessary in order to increase the efficiency of your skill, but we also try to give something interesting, so as soon you level up, you just feel that you get new mechanics addition to what you already can do with the ability by default.
Mm-hmm. Eklund asks us another question. So this time it's about monetization of this hour. So what can we tell about our plans for the future for the monetization of the game?
Okay, guys, you see, currently we are thinking how to work out this thing, because first of all, of course, we want to give you all the opportunity to play the game whenever you, to give the most people the opportunity to play the game. But so it's, as you can say, a free-to-play approach. But the free-to-play approach has the problem that being a small team, it's hard for us to just rely only on producing tons of content each month in order to keep the studio alive. So that's why it's, a kind of, not a thing that we can say just, yes, guys, 100% we go free to play. No, it's not like that. On the other hand, we can't say that we want to go to premium only, because first of all, we don't want to make a huge paywall for people to start playing this hour, because, the more players we have, the more successful the game is. On the other hand, guys, let's be frank, PvP game needs to be the team working every month, even after the release. So it must produce money every given 30 days. So that's why we are currently thinking about how we can combine everything together, what way should we choose in order both to have you comfortable with the monetization system, and at the same time to make it, working for us, to support for ourselves, and not to just get crushed and ruined under the amount of work which we need to do in order to just get the necessary money each time. Right now we have, Patreon, which I just want to say a few words about right now. So you can support us on Patreon, and this support means tons for us, because even some small amount of money you can just put there would let us solve lots of issues which we are facing right now, because PvP game is not easy thing to develop, and it takes lots of time and effort to do it, and it also, creates tons of cool ideas which we want to implement, but of course we need the resources to do it. So just as I've said, if you have the opportunity to support us on Patreon, we'll be happy with that. If not, don't worry, every like, every share, every view you give us helps us to achieve success. So thank you for being with us.
And also I wanted to mention that if you want to get some lore materials, but Patreon is the best place for you to find more lore materials, because we post more content every month, sometimes even 2 or 3 times. So feel free to, again, if you are, if you can, feel free to join us on Patreon. It will be very important.
We'll totally appreciate your help there, guys. But still, as I've said, we totally understand that everyone has different conditions. So what we really ask you to do, because it doesn't require anything just apart from just 1 second of your time, just view our post, press like buttons. If you leave a short comment, it would be just awesome. And if you share our post and tell about our game to your friends, that would really help us out, guys. Honestly, please do it. It's really important for our team to move on.
Course TV asks if we are looking for some lore writers or contributors for the game in the future?
Well, guys, honestly speaking, of course, what would be saying right now, it's a very future plans, and uh, but we would like to get to the level when these plans would come true. So actually, Beast Tower, apart from being the game you are seeing on your screens right now, it can be transferred into the franchise, which can be used for everything because we have a very solid lore base and very solid visuals already. So it can be books, it can be comics books, it can be some movies, it can be some shows, it can be well, whenever you like, whenever well think you can sort about like Warhammer, and Warhammer can be everywhere, Marvel can be everywhere, and the same thing goes for the Beast Tower. And as soon as we get to the level when we understand that we need to produce comics, stories, some scripts, maybe some more games on this franchise, we would be happy to collaborate and work with people who are really cool in different ways of storytelling.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Um, so I guess we should like stick to the plan we have prepared for ourselves. And this time, Anton, I will ask you about mm, maybe about some funny bugs which we had in the game. Do you recall any?
Yeah. You see, at some point we started getting questions in our community and different
Yeah.
social media. Could you tell us about some funny bugs in the game? Honestly, guys, usually bugs are not fun at all because you just working your back out, you're doing things, you're just checking, double checking, and still something is not working. Honestly speaking, it's pretty irritating, really. Especially if something happens and not working, you can't understand why it's not working. That's why when we first got this question, we would say that you see, bugs are not fun at all, guys.
Yeah.
But then we started to just after understanding that people asking this thing, and we started paying attention. It turned out that really some funny things would take place. I can say that once we had giant characters on the map. So for some
Very
reason,
big ones, yes.
yeah, so they were just touching the sky with their head. So that you are thinking and seeing a giant raider running around the map, and it was just what? So well, it was just like some old legends about giants and gods coming to the earth, and it was extremely funny. It was really funny. And then we had some strange things that our vault objects, which you can jump over to get speed, and the beast to just crash the things running through, they started exploding just accidentally, without randomly around the whole map, and it was just you feeling yourself like in the middle of some warfare. You know that everything is exploding and is just lost in this situation. Also, some explosions would just take in the zero coordinates of the map, and you just hearing that some kind of bombing would be there all the time. And we had a funny situation when raiders were interacted with some objects on the map, like capturing arcana points, and they started spinning around themselves like a kind of
like crazy, yeah.
like a Tasmanian devil or Crash Bandicoot, whenever you like, and it's also a fun thing. And once we had the situation that werewolf has a special ability of smashing the ground and just knocking up everyone around him. And to some reason, one of the players got looped in this animation, and he was just smashing the ground like Hulk from Avengers, and nobody could approach him because he was just knocking up everyone who is coming, and at some point he was just surrounded by bodies of fallen players who tried to stop him. That was really fun because apart from being such unstoppable player, he couldn't just stop doing it and got stuck in one place. That was also a funny thing, which I can't remember right now.
Yeah, that's true. I don't recall any other right now maybe there were some very interesting ones. But all of these bugs we are talking about right now, you can actually find them on our social media channels, because we do our best to to capture this moment and to share it with you. Um, Another question I wanted to ask you is about, like, the game. As it's a very complex game. It's a very like complicated system, if you will. So how do you think we should approach with tutorials? And should we like go straight with like here is a picture of how to do certain thing and a text for this situation, or we should go and make a full video tutorial, or we should make a like a level or some sort? Uh, how do you think? What is the approach we should take?
You see, honestly speaking, in order to get people into the game and just to make sure that almost everyone, whenever people are eager to watch the tutorial, to read the tutorial, or play the tutorial, because some people just don't pay attention to tutorial at all. They just jump right into the game and then starting figuring out things right inside the match. There are also such players. That's why, honestly speaking, we should do everything. Currently, tutorial-wise, we have, the different nodes right inside the game. So you get some clues, some hints, press this thing, this is happening, and so on and so forth. These are small things which usually people neglect, but in fact, they really help you out because you notice them without actually paying any attention. It's something like unconscious, attention which you pay to these things. Secondly, inside the game we have a short written tutorial which you can just see by pressing the F1, F2 buttons to check the abilities of the characters and the ways they can be upgraded, and also short images which notes about how to play the game. Thirdly, we do have in our lobby, you can click the tutorial button and get to the YouTube channel of ours, where you can watch short videos about the gameplay and just learn the game basics just watching them. And of course, at some point of game development, we will be making the playable tutorial. So maybe it would be some kind of extra level, or maybe it can be just done on the level which we do have right now. I don't know, I can't say that for sure now, but it's the thing where you'll be running around, learning the game basics, and you'll be just written, play this thing, do this thing, and so on and so after. So to make sure that after completing this tutorial, you're already familiar how general things in the game are working. That's the thing. So tutorials are really important, and they must be complex. So there should be different sources of this knowledge where you can get it, because even after completing the most thorough tutorial, people are likely not to remember everything. And still in the game, they should get clues on some situations so they can remember what they have already learned.
True. Guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them, because we don't actually have that much time left. So if you have any questions, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Eklund has a question about Rift, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he said it's the first time he noticed that we have a special animation for this Arcana device, which you use in order to capture the Rift. So yeah, actually I wanted to ask you about this topic. So we change visuals of our Arcana quests regularly, I would say. At least like for the last few months we have changed them, few times, and current variant, most people in our team think that it's good enough. That is very nice. Can you tell us maybe about the process behind creating each and every new type of visual for Arcana, and how it works from your point of view?
Okay, so the approach is generally similar for any visual that we have in the game, especially if it's a 3D model. I mean, not some kind of button in interface or maybe some other thing which is done only in 2D. So we do our best to stick heavily on prototyping. So first of all, we just find some reference or we make some draft sketch to understand that, yeah, we want something like that. When we are satisfied with the idea, we made the thing which is called blocking. It's a very draft and low poly 3D model which is done quickly and put inside the game, because it helps us out to understand the scales of the object, to understand how the general silhouette works, and if we really like playing with this prototype thing just during the game. After this stage, if we are satisfied, we move on with just adding some new level of work to this visual and then again put into the game. So as soon as we feel that the visual is pretty neat and we are satisfied with the idea, we then just go and finish it and run through the whole process of preparing the 3D model for the final quality and optimization for putting it inside the game engine. So the very same thing goes with Arcana. So we have the idea, we quickly prototype the idea, just put it into the game as soon as possible, play several games with this visual, feel that we're satisfied, that then we finish it out. That's almost our common practice, which helps us to quickly get things into the game. So just we already start playing with new features. And secondly, it allows us to stay away from spending more time to something that is necessary, because we are watching the result right into the game. As soon as it works well at our gameplay speed and with our camera angle, we stop our work on the asset to make sure that, okay, the necessary level of quality is achieved. If we do more, it would be useless because players just won't notice it. So same goes for Arcana visuals.
Okay, pretty complex if you ask me, because I actually don't get into this part of the work as a...
Well, it may sound complex. It may sound complex, but you know, it's really far easy doing than when you do something from the early beginning to the very end, and only after that put into the game, because you know, you work quickly, you already see the result of your work, which is pretty motivating. And if at some point you figure out some mistakes, you get to these mistakes quickly and you solve them easily, because nothing is more frustrating than spending several days on some new wall, on some new card, or some new lighten, or some, you know, even part of the character, and then when everything is finished and done, you put it into the game, feel it doesn't feel well, it has a wrong scale, and this texture, it doesn't fit, or maybe just in not suiting the whole general environment of the game. And it's so frustrating that I believe that it's rather the short iteration steps that you take is far more proficient way of doing things for us.
That's a very complex answer you just gave us. So guys, if you ever were curious in that part of work, game development, here you have your answers. So Anton, do we have any other questions?
I believe that I'm just monitoring both our chat windows in Twitch and YouTube, and I don't notice any extra questions which we could be going through. That's why I say that, guys, I appreciate your time, and we already, I think, went over the time which was scheduled. So thank you very much for staying with us for such a long time. Enjoy
Of
your
course.
day, evening, or whenever time zone you are in right now. So all the best, and we encourage you to visit our social media, see us there, put your questions, put your comments, put your likes, views, shares. As I've said tons of times already during this stream, it's really makes a difference. And also
It
next
does.
next month we will be having a new QA stream, so please stay tuned and see us next time.
Yeah. Just I mean, keep on. Stay tuned, because probably, I cannot promise anything, but probably we will have something very special next time we go live, and you guys will know what I am talking about. Okay, no more no more hints or anything like this. So okay, guys, thank you again for coming. Thank you, Course TV. Thank you, Eklan. Thank you, Leonin, Russ, and all of you guys. Yes, have a wonderful day, and may the beast be with you.
Yeah, as we say, the beast will come. So see you
Yeah.
guys next time. Have a great time. Thank you for supporting.